As a vet who's worked with hundreds of cats, I've learned one disturbing truth. Most litter box problems aren't your cat's fault. They're yours. But what you don't realize is that these simple mistakes don't just cause bad behavior. They cause disease. I've seen perfectly healthy cats develop kidney failure, bladder infections, and even respiratory damage, not from illness, but from what's happening in their litter box right now. And here's the part that shocks me the most. According to recent studies, over 78% of cat owners are making at least one mistake that directly harms their cat's health every single day. That smell you think is normal? It's filled with ammonia levels strong enough to irritate human lungs. Imagine what it's doing to a 10-pound cat breathing it in 24/7. The dusty litter you bought because it was cheap? It releases silica particles that can scar lung tissue after just weeks of use. And the worst part, your cat won't show pain until it's almost too late. I've treated cats who went from playful to hospitalized in less than a week because of one litter box mistake their owners didn't even know they were making. Now, we're going to expose the hidden litter box habits that are silently destroying your cat's health, one scoop at a time. Tell me in the comments, how many of these deadly mistakes are you guilty of right now? Mistake 1. The trap box. Ever wondered why your cat walks up to their covered litter box, sniffs the entrance, then slowly backs away like it's haunted? Here's the disturbing truth, it is. You've turned their bathroom into a panic chamber. Cats aren't just pets. They're prey animals hardwired to survive ambush. In the wild, they'd never step into a cave with only one way out. But that's exactly what a covered litter box is, a dark, airtight trap where every sound echoes like danger. Now imagine being forced to breathe in your own waste. Studies show that inside a covered box, ammonia levels can rise 200% higher than in open boxes within just 24 hours. That trapped air? It's filled with toxic gas strong enough to burn nasal tissue and irritate lungs. Cats have noses 14 times more sensitive than yours. What smells a little strong to you feels like acid to them. And it's not just about smell. Research from feline behaviorists found that cats forced to use enclosed boxes show a 43% increase in stress hormones, leading to bladder inflammation, urinary infections, and even hair loss from chronic anxiety. Every time your cat steps inside, their heart rate spikes. They're not doing their business, they're surviving. Here's the heartbreaking part. Most owners buy covered boxes thinking they're giving their cat privacy. But to your cat, that privacy is prison. They can't see threats. They can't escape. Even another pet walking by feels like a predator waiting outside the only exit. The fix is simple but life-changing. Ditch the lid. Switch to an open, spacious box in a quiet corner. Your cat will breathe easier, relax faster, and finally feel safe doing the one thing they should never fear, going to the bathroom. Mistake 2. The toxic litter choice. That fresh scent litter you love? It's quietly poisoning your cat. Every time you pour it, a cloud of invisible dust fills the air, and your cat breathes in every particle. You smell lavender and clean linen. Your cat smells chemical warfare. Most commercial litters are made from sodium bentonite clay, the same material used in industrial absorbents. When cats dig, they release microscopic silica particles that stay airborne for hours. Those particles settle deep into their lungs, cutting and coating tissue like glass dust. Studies show cats exposed to high-dust litters develop respiratory irritation within weeks, and chronic exposure increases the risk of asthma-like symptoms by up to 60%. And it gets worse. The artificial fragrances that make litter smell fresh are synthetic compounds known as volatile organic chemicals, or VOCs. They react with ammonia from urine, forming formaldehyde gas, a known irritant that can cause coughing, watery eyes, and long-term damage to delicate feline lungs. To your nose, it's perfume. To your cat, it's poison gas. I've treated cats who wheezed for months before their owners realized the cause wasn't allergies or dust in the house. It was the litter box. One cat's breathing improved within 3 days of switching to unscented litter. Another's chronic sneezing stopped completely after the owner ditched the Mountain Spring scent. Here's the brutal truth. Your cat spends an average of 20 minutes a day in or near their litter box. That's more than 120 hours a month breathing that dust. If you wouldn't inhale chemicals every time you use the bathroom, why should they? The fix is simple. Switch to unscented, low-dust, natural litter with pellets, paper, or corn-based. Within a week, You'll notice your cat breathing easier, sleeping better, and finally free from the toxic fog you never knew you created. Mistake 3. Skipping the daily clean. Would you use a toilet that hasn't been flushed in 3 days? Then why expect your cat to? You scoop when it looks dirty, but by then it's already a biological hazard. After just 24 hours, 1 gram of used litter contains over 3 million bacteria, E. coli, salmonella, and ammonia-producing microbes that thrive in the warmth of your home. What smells faintly unpleasant to you smells like death to your cat. Their sense of smell is 14 times stronger than yours. Imagine walking into a bathroom so foul it burns your nose. That's what your cat faces every single day you skip the scoop. Here's what happens next. Your cat hesitates, holds their urine, and waits for the box to get better. But holding it leads to bladder pressure, crystal buildup, and urinary tract infections that can turn deadly in less than 48 hours. I've treated cats that came in with blocked bladders so full they were hours from rupturing, all because their owners thought cleaning once every couple of days was fine. And it's not just bacteria. As waste breaks down, ammonia levels skyrocket. In enclosed rooms, those fumes can reach 5 parts per million, high enough to irritate lungs and eyes. Repeated exposure inflames the urinary tract and stresses the kidneys, leading to long-term organ damage. Studies prove it. Cats with boxes scooped daily are 80% less likely to develop urinary illness. That's not opinion, that's data. 1 minute of scooping a day can literally add years to your cat's life. So here's the hard truth. Lazy scooping isn't harmless. It's slow organ failure disguised as convenience. Pick up the scoop. Your cat's health depends on it, and they're silently begging you to care. Mistake 4. Sharing 1 box. 2 cats, 1 box. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. To your cats, that single litter box isn't a bathroom. It's a battlefield. In the wild, no cat would ever share a toilet. Their scent is their signature, their territory, their survival. When you force 2 cats to share 1 box, you're asking them to eat, sleep, and fight over the same patch of dirt. A place that should be private becomes a war zone of scent and dominance. Here's what's really happening. Every time 1 cat uses the box, they're leaving behind chemical messages, pheromones that say, "This is mine." When the other cat enters, they're instantly on alert. Their body floods with cortisol, their heart rate jumps, and what should be a simple bathroom trip turns into a psychological standoff. Studies from feline behavior experts show that multi-cat homes with too few boxes experience 5 times more aggression, anxiety, and revenge peeing. I've seen cats who refuse to use the box entirely, choosing beds, closets, or laundry piles instead, not out of spite, but pure fear. One client had 2 cats and 1 litter box. They fought daily, peed on the couch, and avoided each other for months. She added 2 more boxes, and within a week, the fighting stopped completely. No medication, no training, just more bathrooms. Here's the golden rule every cat owner should memorize. Number of cats plus 1 equals number of litter boxes. 2 cats, 3 boxes. 3 cats, 4 boxes. It's that simple. So if you think you're saving space or time by sharing 1 box, think again. You're not maintaining harmony. You're enforcing constant stress. Give each cat their own safe space, and you'll stop the silent war happening right under your roof. Mistake 5. The wrong spot. Would you eat dinner next to your toilet? Of course not. Yet thousands of cat owners unknowingly force their cats to do exactly that. When you place the litter box next to the food bowl or in the middle of a noisy room, you're creating a psychological nightmare. What you see as convenient, your cat experiences as chaos. Cats are intensely private creatures. Their litter box is supposed to be a safe, silent refuge, not a stage surrounded by noise, footsteps, and blaring machines. Basements with cold floors, laundry rooms with rattling washers, or hallways filled with constant motion are torture zones. To you, that washing machine hums quietly in the background. To your cat, whose hearing is 4 times sharper than yours, it sounds like a roaring predator waiting to strike. And it's not just noise. The wrong placement changes their behavior at a biological level. Studies show that cats exposed to constant noise or high-traffic stressors have elevated cortisol levels and a 68% higher chance of litter box avoidance. That's not misbehavior, that's panic. Your cat's not being difficult. They're trying to survive in what feels like a danger zone. I've seen cats hold their waste for hours, developing bladder infections, simply because their box was placed next to a loud dryer. One owner moved it just 10 feet to a quiet corner, and the accident stopped overnight. The fix is simple: location equals peace. Place the box in a quiet, low-traffic area with a clear view of the room and at least 2 escape routes. No noise. No corners of fear. When your cat feels safe, they relax, and the bathroom becomes just a bathroom again, not a battlefield of sound and scent. Mistake 6. Box too tiny. That cute little litter box you bought? To your cat, it's not cute, it's a coffin. You might think it fits perfectly in the corner of your living room, but to your cat, it's a claustrophobic trap. Imagine being forced to use a child-sized toilet where your knees touch the walls and you can barely move. That's what your cat feels every time they step into that undersized box you thought was just right. Here's the harsh truth. 90% of litter boxes sold in pet stores are too small for the average adult cat. Your cat should be able to step in, turn around, dig, and cover without touching the sides. The correct size? 1.5 times the length of your cat, nose to tail. Anything smaller forces them into unnatural crouching positions that strain their hips, compress their spine, and make elimination physically painful. When you see your cat hanging their backside over the edge, they're not being bad. They're trying to relieve discomfort. And when they start avoiding the box entirely, it's not misbehavior, it's desperation. I've treated cats with joint inflammation and even tail injuries caused by cramped litter boxes that force them to twist awkwardly. Here's the reality nobody tells you. The smaller the box, the greater the stress. Cats associate pain with place, and once that link forms, it's hard to break. The fix is simple and cheap. Ditch the designer box and grab a large plastic storage bin. It costs half the price, fits your cat's body, and feels like freedom instead of confinement. Within days, you'll see it. Less mess, no accidents, and a cat who finally looks relieved instead of tense. Comfort shouldn't be a luxury, it's survival. Mistake 7. Walls too high. Is your cat struggling to climb into their litter box? You might think those high sides keep the mess in, but for your cat, they turn every bathroom trip into a painful obstacle course. For kittens, seniors, and overweight cats, those walls might as well be a mountain. And here's the heartbreaking truth. Some cats are quietly suffering every single time they try to use it. Arthritis is one of the most common conditions in older cats. Studies estimate over 60% of cats above the age of 10 have joint pain. Yet most owners never notice. They don't limp. They don't cry. They just stop jumping or stop using the box. That accident on the carpet isn't rebellion, it's agony. Your cat didn't choose to pee outside the box. They physically couldn't climb in. For overweight cats, the problem is even worse. Their joints are under constant strain, and lifting themselves over tall plastic edges is like you trying to pull yourself over a wall with a sprained knee. Every jump hurts a little more until they give up entirely. A study on geriatric cats found that litter boxes with sides under 5 inches reduced accidents by 74%. Lower walls mean less pain, less fear, and more confidence. And it's not just seniors. Kittens can also struggle with boxes that are too tall, risking muscle strain or injury. The fix couldn't be simpler. Replace high-sided boxes with low-entry ones or cut a small doorway into the front of your existing box. Add a soft mat for grip, and you've instantly turned frustration into relief. Within days, your cat's posture changes, their anxiety fades, and bathroom time stops being torture. It becomes peace again. Mistake 8. Changing litter overnight. Did you just switch your cat's litter because it was on sale, or because the packaging said eco-friendly? Congratulations, you may have just triggered a full-blown stress response in your cat's brain. Cats are creatures of habit to an extreme degree. Their entire sense of safety depends on routine, scent, and familiarity. When you dump out the old litter and replace it overnight, it's the feline equivalent of someone replacing your entire bathroom with one in a foreign country. It looks different. It smells alien. And to your cat, it's terrifying. Cats form deep scent associations that last for years. Their litter box doesn't just smell like waste, it smells like them. It's a territory marker, a comfort zone. When you erase that familiar scent overnight, their brain interprets it as danger. Studies show that sudden environmental changes spike cortisol, the stress hormone, by up to 150% in cats. That kind of hormonal surge can cause anxiety, aggression, vomiting, and even litter box refusal. I've seen it firsthand. A perfectly trained cat suddenly stops using the box after a quick brand change. Not because they're being difficult, but because their brain is in panic mode. It's not just preference, it's biological survival. Here's the science-backed fix. Transition slowly. Mix in 20% new litter each day for 5 days until the old scent fades naturally. This gradual blend preserves scent memory, prevents cortisol spikes, and helps your cat feel safe while adapting. To you, it's just litter. To your cat, it's their world. Change it too fast, and you shatter their sense of security. Do it right, and you'll never see another mystery accident again. Just calm, consistent bathroom behavior, and a cat that finally feels at peace. Mistake 9. Not enough litter. Think using less litter saves money? Wrong. You're not saving a few dollars. You're slowly suffocating your cat. Cats need depth, not for luxury, but for survival. In the wild, they bury waste deep to mask their scent from predators. It's an instinct burned into their DNA. When you give them a shallow layer of litter, you're denying them that instinct. You're forcing them to expose themselves, to smell their own waste, and to live in a chemical fog you can't even sense. Here's what's really happening beneath the surface. When urine hits the bottom of the box, it doesn't absorb, it reacts. The liquid soaks into the plastic and releases ammonia gas, a toxin that burns nasal passages and eyes. Studies show that in poorly maintained boxes, ammonia levels can reach 5 parts per million, enough to irritate human lungs and severely harm a cat's delicate respiratory system. They breathe that in every single day. And when they walk away from the box or start peeing elsewhere, it's not defiance, it's self-preservation. A proper litter box should have at least 3 inches of litter. That depth allows digging, covering, and odor control. Anything less, and you're forcing your cat to step in wet spots, feel sticky residue, and inhale fumes from the box floor. It's like you being forced to walk barefoot through a public restroom that hasn't been cleaned in days. The irony? Using more litter actually saves money. With enough depth, clumps form properly, waste removes cleanly, and litter lasts longer. Less odor, less replacement, healthier cat. So next time you pour just a little, remember, your cat's lungs, kidneys, and instincts depend on that extra inch. The difference between comfort and crisis is only a few scoops away. Mistake 10. Using harsh cleaners. That bleach you use to disinfect? You might as well be cleaning your cat's litter box with poison gas. It sounds dramatic, but it's horrifyingly true. When bleach mixes with cat urine, the ammonia reacts to form chloramine vapor, a chemical compound so toxic it's used in industrial cleaning warnings. To you, it smells sharp and fresh. To your cat, it burns. One whiff can inflame their airways, irritate their eyes, and damage the delicate tissue inside their nose. You see, your cat's nose isn't built like yours. It's a precision instrument. They have 200 million scent receptors, compared to your 5 million. What you think is a clean smell feels like acid in their lungs. That so-called disinfected box you're proud of? It's a toxic chamber your cat dreads entering. And it doesn't end there. Even standard household detergents, the lemon-scented sprays, the floor cleaners, leave behind microscopic chemical residues. Your cat steps in, licks their paws later, and ingests those toxins every single day. It's slow poisoning disguised as hygiene. I've seen cats develop mysterious coughing fits, watery eyes, even hair loss around their paws, all traced back to cleaning products. And the heartbreaking part? Their owners thought they were doing the right thing. The solution is simple, and science backs it. Use unscented enzymatic cleaners designed to break down urine and bacteria naturally. No harsh chemicals, no fragrances, just clean. Anything else turns your cat's bathroom into a gas chamber. So the next time you reach for bleach, stop. You're not disinfecting, you're contaminating. One deep clean could undo months of trust and damage your cat's health forever. Keep it simple. Keep it scentless. Because a safe litter box doesn't need to sparkle. It needs to let your cat breathe. Mistake 11. 1 scoop for every box. That single scoop you're proudly reusing for every litter box? It's not just unsanitary, it's a biohazard. You think you're being efficient, but in reality, you're turning your cat's litter area into a disease network. Every time that scoop touches another box, it carries microscopic traces of waste, bacteria, parasites, and viruses invisible to the eye but deadly to your cats. Here's the nightmare nobody tells you. Feline pathogens don't die easily. Feline coronavirus, the same one that can mutate into the deadly FIP, can survive for up to 7 days on contaminated plastic. Giardia cysts cling to surfaces for a week or more, waiting for the next unsuspecting paw to spread them. One sick cat, one shared scoop, and suddenly, every box in your home becomes infected. I've seen multi-cat homes spiral into chaos because of this exact mistake. One cat sneezes, another gets diarrhea, and within days the whole household is coughing, scratching, and refusing the box. The owners disinfected floors, washed blankets, changed food, but never thought about the scoop. And it's not just disease. Every scoop carries scent markers, too. Cats recognize each other's smell instantly. When one cat's pheromones invade another's box, it triggers stress, territorial aggression, and revenge peeing. What you see as efficiency feels like invasion to them. The fix is simple and foolproof. One box, one scoop. Color code them. Label them. Store them separately. A dollar store scoop can prevent hundreds in vet bills and weeks of stress. So before you scoop again, ask yourself, are you cleaning the box or contaminating it? Your cats rely on you to keep their space safe. Don't turn hygiene into infection. One scoop per box. No exceptions. Mistake 12. Random cleaning times. Cleaning, whenever you remember, might seem harmless to you, but to your cat, it's chaos. Cats don't live by our clocks. They live by precision. Their entire world runs on patterns: feeding, sleeping, grooming, and yes, bathroom time. When you scoop at random hours, you're not just being inconsistent. You're destroying the rhythm that keeps your cat sane. Here's what most people don't realize. Cats have internal clocks accurate to within minutes. They expect their environment and their litter box to stay predictable. When it's not, their stress hormones spike. A study from the Journal of Feline Medicine found that cats exposed to irregular routines were 70% more likely to develop stress-related illnesses like cystitis and inflammatory bowel disease. That's not coincidence. That's biology reacting to uncertainty. Think about it. If your bathroom changed condition every time you went, would you feel comfortable? Sometimes spotless, sometimes filthy, sometimes moved. Your cat faces that unpredictability every single day you forget to scoop. And when they start peeing outside the box, it's not defiance, it's anxiety. They're searching for a consistent, safe place to relieve themselves because you took away the one they trusted. I've seen it happen countless times. One owner cleaned in the mornings one day, evenings the next. Her cat stopped using the box altogether. When she set alarms and cleaned at the same time every day, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., the accidents vanished within a week. The fix is simple but life-changing. Pick 2 consistent times and stick to them. No exceptions. Routine equals safety. Safety equals trust. And trust means your cat can finally relax. Consistency doesn't just prevent mess. It protects organs, lowers stress, and literally saves kidneys. Mistake 13. Plastic liners. Those plastic liners that make cleaning easier, they're not helping, they're hurting. To your cat, they're not a convenience. They're a trap. Every time your cat steps in, their claws snag, the plastic crinkles, and suddenly the litter box becomes a sensory nightmare. That sharp, tearing sound you barely notice? To your cat, with hearing 4 times sharper than yours, it's a gunshot in a metal chamber. One bad experience, and they'll never trust the box again. But the danger doesn't stop there. Underneath that thin sheet of plastic, urine pools and festers. The liner prevents proper absorption, trapping moisture and waste that react with bacteria to form ammonia gas. Within just a few hours, those pockets can reach toxic levels, high enough to irritate lungs and eyes. Cats, who live nose to surface, are breathing it in with every visit. Studies show long-term exposure to even low levels of ammonia causes chronic respiratory inflammation and worsens existing asthma. So while you're patting yourself on the back for keeping it clean, your cat's lungs are under attack. I've seen cats refuse to enter their box for days, not because they're stubborn, but because they associate the sound and smell with danger. One owner couldn't figure out why her cat was peeing on the rug. She threw away the liners, and the problem vanished overnight. Here's the brutal truth. Liners save you 30 seconds, but cost your cat comfort, trust, and health. They turn a safe place into a noisy, slippery trap filled with chemical fumes. The fix? Go natural. Bare plastic box, no liners, just litter. Your cat will dig freely, breathe easily, and finally feel safe again. Sometimes the easiest cleaning hack is the one that hurts the most. Mistake 14. Not tracking bathroom habits. Your cat's litter box isn't just a toilet. It's a medical chart. Every clump, every scoop, every change tells a story about what's happening inside their body. But most owners never pay attention. They scoop, dump, and move on, missing the silent warnings that could mean the difference between life and death. Here's the truth. Your cat's bathroom habits are diagnostic gold. A healthy cat pees 2 to 4 times a day and poops once or twice, like clockwork. Any deviation is a red flag. Peeing too often can mean diabetes or kidney disease. Peeing less can signal dehydration or urinary blockage. And here's the terrifying part. Male cats can die within 48 hours from a urinary blockage. They'll strain, cry softly, maybe lick themselves, and then quietly shut down. By the time you notice, it's often too late. I've seen it too many times. An owner says he just seemed a little off, not realizing their cat hadn't peed in a day and a half. By the time they rush to the vet, the bladder's swollen like a balloon, toxins flooding the bloodstream. One simple habit, counting litter box visits, could have saved that cat's life. Even stool changes matter. Hard, dry nuggets, dehydration, loose or discolored stool, digestive inflammation or parasites. And don't ignore odor. A sudden foul smell can mean infection. The solution is simple but life-saving. Observe, count, and note. Spend 60 seconds a day checking your cat's litter box. Know what's normal for them, because normal is your early warning system. You don't need fancy tech, just awareness. A few seconds of attention could prevent pain, suffering, or worse. The box doesn't lie, you just have to listen. Mistake 15. Automatic boxes. That $500 self-cleaning litter box you bought to make life easier. To your cat, it's a horror movie. The grinding motor, the mechanical raking arm, the sudden movement. It's like watching a predator come alive inside their bathroom. What you see is high-tech convenience. Your cat sees as a trap that attacks without warning. Here's what the manufacturers don't tell you. Cats don't just dislike these machines, they fear them. Studies show that nearly half of cats develop anxiety or avoidance behaviors when introduced to automatic boxes. The reason is simple: unpredictability. One wrong sensor reading, one delayed cycle, and your cat's peaceful moment turns into chaos. I've seen it happen. A cat using the box when suddenly the mechanism starts to move. The noise, the vibration, the flashing lights, all at once. That cat never trusted the box again. And it's not just fear. These machines fail, often. Sensors get clogged, weight detectors malfunction, and the motor can activate while your cat is still inside. Kittens and smaller cats sometimes aren't even detected at all. They climb in unnoticed, and when the cleaning arm activates, panic erupts. Some cats even injure themselves trying to escape. You might think you're saving time, but here's the ugly truth. Manual scooping takes 1 minute. The psychological damage from an automatic box can last for years. Once a cat loses trust in their litter box, that trauma sticks. They'll hold their waste, hide it, or avoid it altogether, and their health will pay the price. So skip the gadgets. Pick up the scoop. That's simple. Human action builds safety, consistency, and trust. You don't need a robot to clean a litter box. You just need 1 minute of care. Mistake 16. Feeding too close to litter time. Feeding your cat right after they use the litter box might feel efficient, but to your cat, it's psychological torture. You're forcing their brain to associate the scent of food with the smell of waste, and that single mistake can destroy their appetite for life. Cats don't separate smells the way we do. Their nose is their world. It's 200 million scent receptors constantly mapping their territory, safety, and comfort. When those signals overlap, food and feces, dinner and disgust, their instinct screams danger. Here's the science. Cats use scent to categorize experiences as safe or unsafe. The litter box is their elimination zone, a place tied to vulnerability. Their food area is sacred. It represents survival. Mix the two, and their brain goes into conflict. Over time, that stress response leads to nausea, food refusal, and even long-term eating disorders. Behavior studies show cats fed within 30 minutes of elimination are significantly more likely to show appetite suppression or develop food aversion behaviors. I've seen it firsthand. A client's cat suddenly stopped eating after the owner moved the food bowl closer to safe space. The cat associated the smell of kibble with the lingering ammonia scent of urine. The fix was simple. Move the bowl across the room and wait 45 minutes between bathroom use and feeding. Within 2 days, the cat's appetite returned completely. Here's the rule that saves stomachs and sanity. The 45-minute rule. Never feed your cat within 45 minutes of litter box time, and never place food near the box. Separate these zones completely, one for digestion, one for elimination. Your cat's body and brain aren't designed to handle both at once. Respect that boundary, and you'll protect their health, trust, and instinctive sense of safety. Mistake 17. Reacting to the smell. That stinks. Sounds harmless, right? But to your cat, those 3 little words cut deeper than you think. You didn't just complain about a smell. You told them that their most natural, vulnerable act disgusted you. Cats might not understand language, but they understand tone. And your disgust sounds exactly like rejection. Here's what happens next. Your cat walks out of the box, hears that sharp tone, and their brain instantly links elimination with shame. It's not conscious, it's emotional conditioning. The litter box becomes a place of embarrassment instead of relief. And when that happens repeatedly, they start searching for somewhere, anywhere. You won't judge them. That's why they start hiding waste under beds, behind furniture, or in closets. Not because they're being bad, but because they think they're protecting themselves from your disappointment. Behavioral studies show cats exposed to negative owner reactions are 3 times more likely to develop litter box avoidance and stress-related behaviors. Their body literally releases cortisol when they sense tension or anger in your voice. One frustrated outburst from you can undo weeks of trust. I've seen owners break down crying when they realized their cat wasn't spiteful, just scared. One simple change transformed everything. Silence. No sighs, no scolding, no disgust. Just calm acknowledgement and quiet praise. Good kitty. That's it. Here's the golden rule. Your reaction shapes your cat's confidence. If you act disgusted, they feel ashamed. If you act calm, they feel safe. Your poker face is their peace of mind. So next time you smell something unpleasant, take a breath. You're not reacting to a mess. You're teaching your cat how safe they are with you. Silence saves trust.